go back to... See, the Pembroke isn't really too far away. I can get back there. And there is new dialogue available, apparently, with Lady Ashbury and Dr. Swansea. That will probably be regarding Sean Hampton. I should go back and discuss that with them, that he has turned into a Scarl, and that he does seem, for the moment, rather lucid. Let's do that. We're going to go back, hand in these investigations, nip back to the hospital, catch up with Lady Ashbury and Dr. Swansea, fill them in with what's going on. We'll spread some medicine around. I know it's dangerous for me to go out in sunlight now, but I'm just wondering how effective would my shadow veil be in sunlight? Would it... I mean, disregarding the fact that I would be burning alive, would the sunlight just strip away the shadows and make it ineffective? Now, Giselle. There's Lottie. There she is, at the back. Giselle, good news from somebody in a fine suit for once.
You again? What do you want?
I have. Well, what can you tell me about Sean Hampton, to begin with?
Giselle, I know you sleep at Sean Hampton's shelter. What can you tell me about him?
He provided a roof for me and my sister. I am grateful, of course, but he gives me the creeps.
Why is that?
He's always sad, like he's about to cry. He's always asking us to get closer to God, to give ourselves to the Lord. Creepy.
His preaching is a little overt, I'll grant you. Here we are. I have found the man who stole from you.
I've identified the men who stole from you. You were right. They were members of some self-proclaimed militia.
You should stay away from them. They're dangerous.
Did you find the money too?
Yes, here. Here it is.
Yes, here it is. They thought they could finance their activities with it.
I never thought a man like you would be kind enough to... I misjudged you. Badly. Well, thank you, sir.
Will you give the money back to your comrades, then?
Fuck those bastards who fired me. I'll give the money to Miss Gillingham. Her son Jack was a friend of mine. He was killed recently.
Okay. For a moment, I was worried I'd done the wrong thing by giving her the money and that she was going to keep it to herself. But if she's going to give it to Miss Gillingham, then that's fine by me. I can now ask you about his death. Yeah, make sure you stay away from the Pruan Guard. They are no good, as you've found out. Tell me about Jack Gillingham's death.
I know you were friends with Miss Gillingham's son, Jack.
Yes, she just told us that.
Jack's murder has been a shock to the neighborhood. A sign that the situation is now out of control.
Why is that?
There has always been tension between the Wet Boot Boys and members of the trade union.
Oh.
But a murder? That's a first.
So, the so-called communists are just the trade union members, then? Who, do you know... Is it common knowledge who killed them, then? That the Wet Boot Boys did it?
Who killed him?
No one will ever know. One thing is certain. While Jack was alive, I had one less reason to drink.
Sounds like you were rather sweet on him, then. And... Oh, this is a silly question, but... Why so sad? I know it's because your friend is dead.
Why does that upset you so much?
I wish I had found the time and words to tell him how important he was to me before it was too late. Another failure for Giselle Paxton.
No, you can't blame yourself for that. That's... Life's cruelty is really getting to this woman. I do feel for her quite a lot.
Well, I'll leave you for now. Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
That poor woman. That's one investigation succeeded. Let us find our self-proclaimed vampire hunting friend. Here he is.
Good evening, Mr. Throgmorton.
Dr. Reed, can I be of any assistance? Have you noticed anything suspicious lately?
Nothing suspicious, but I posted your posters everywhere.
I put up your public service announcement. Consider the common folk warned about the vampiric presence.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. You may not realize it, but you saved a great many lives today.
I hope
Do you
so.
really think they could be useful?
See the sad saint of the East End? How a single man can help so many people? I consider myself the discreet protector of these men and women.
You do have a little bit of a hero complex. But I do hope these posters help, because otherwise, I put myself in a spot of bother by making myself more easily recognizable. But then again, the information that you have, that you've put into those posters, clearly isn't doing you very much good regarding myself. The shelter, though, why protect the shelter specifically?
Tell me, Ichabod, why do you consider yourself the protector of Hampton's shelter?
He is a truly inspiring example. Dedicated, pious. His shelter is open to all, whoever they are. Most admirable.
Okay, so you simply admire, then, Hampton. I'll leave you be. You're healthy enough.
Goodbye, and good hunting, Mr. Throgmorton.
So that is the investigations done. We're going to head to the hospital. We're going to speak and catch up with Lady Ashbury and Dr. Swansea. And then we will evolve and return, more prepared to face the challenges that await us. Oh, while I remember, I did actually discover a new hint regarding Mr. Dyson. There you are. Speak of the devil.
Good evening, Mr. Delaney.
What? Oh, you're that doctor.
Hampton, he actually saved you from drowning in the canal.
Is it true Hampton saved your life?
Yeah. A sad saint grabbed my soggy ass and brought me back to the pier after I fell into the canal. I was a wreck back then.
And yet you're still drinking. Did you ever... Well, actually, I think this is... Rather than accusing him of not being thankful, I think I should ask why you're still drinking after an event like that.
And yet you're still drowning in cheap liquor.
Hampton really acted like a saint that day. But I suppose I'm just another lost soul who doesn't deserve to be saved.
You really don't believe you deserve to be saved. Right, I shall leave you.
Goodbye, Mr. Delaney.
Take care, please. Now, we are slowly uncovering hints regarding the Wet Boot Boy's murder of Jack Chillingham. For now, I don't believe we have enough information to solve it.
These parts will be running completely amok.
I think you're the reason these parts are running completely amok. Lady Ashbury, you're still here in the same place.
How are you this evening, Jonathan?
Well enough.
The scowl that escaped from the hospital is eluding me. He must be caught.
Scowls are a risk to the balance we maintain. It needs to be stopped.
Have we discussed this? You do really hate Scarl.
You certainly hate scowls.
No, not hate. I pity them. Damaged and broken for eternity. Can you imagine, Jonathan? Can you imagine what they must be suffering?
Are they... Does this mean Hampton is now broken? Are they all alike?
I would not have labeled them all the same. I've met some that are quite clever, in fact. Much like people.
I am sorry. You should know Skal is derived from slave. Vampires have never looked kindly on their lesser progeny.
Why is that, I wonder? Could a Skal be trusted?
Do you think they can be trusted?
They are weaker than us in every sense. From their abilities to being able to control their hunger. There is a savagery in them.
So, although what Sean Hampton said about me, I'm a vampire walking around my prey as a doctor with my patients, and that I resist, Sean Hampton's resistance is going to be weaker to begin with as a Skal. We absolutely talked about meeting my maker.
When we were at the funeral, I had a feeling. I think I met my maker.
Oh, wait.
You do not have to tell me if you don't wish to.
Oh, this is new. The man did not tell me his name.
There is almost nothing to say. He appeared in a gush of blood, prattled off some riddles, and vanished.
Oh,
without
no,
me
we've not
telling
talked
me
about
his
this.
name.
Be on guard, Jonathan. Whoever your maker is, he's obviously as powerful as he is elusive.
Should I... Well, it's too late now, but should I not have told you that I met my maker?
Should I not?
In most circumstances, a vampire would not discuss his maker. There is a strong bond that exists between a maker and their progeny.
Hard to develop that bond when you just get bitten and left in a pile of corpses. What do you know about McCullum challenging Dr. Swansea on our being here?
The head of the guard of Prewan stopped by to see Dr. Swansea.
You have nothing to fear. The guard would not risk openly challenging the Brotherhood. Even they are not that foolish.
I don't know. They could find... Well, they know about me now, but they could find you.
Now that the hunters are aware of my presence, they could discover your whereabouts too.
Don't worry. I've evaded those jackals in the past, and I shall do so in the future. And besides, who would ever suspect the kind Samaritan Lady Ashbury?
You do the voice very well. What do you know of the tension between the factions, though? Weren't they once one group that have splintered?
I noticed there was no love lost between the Brotherhood and the Guard.
They share the same fascination in our species, but they diverge from any commonality in thought. Talk to Dr. Swansea if you wish to know more.
I shall do. I'll leave you be. Thank you for your
Goodbye
time.
for now, my lady.
Always make time to talk to her. She knows far more about events than I do. Dr. Swansea. I thought you weren't in here for a moment when I saw your chair was empty. Dr. Swansea.
Jonathan, have you got any news about Sean Hampton?
I
I'm
do.
still investigating. In the meantime, I have some questions.
All right, just ask.
Perhaps I should keep most of my information regarding Sean Hampton until the situation is resolved, so I don't create any biases here. I'm curious though, how did you and Lady Ashbury meet?
Tell me, Edgar, how did you meet Lady Ashbury?
I met her 9 years ago. I was working in Scotland at the time in a sanatorium the good lady visited from time to time. She subsequently offered me a position here, at the Pembroke Hospital.
So she runs the place. Why would she offer you this position? Were you part of St. Paul's Stole at the time?
Why offer you this position?
I'd already been experimenting with blood-borne diseases and transfusion methods. Without success, I'm afraid. How could I refuse such a fascinating creature? So, in 1911, I took charge of the Pembroke.
You really went straight to the top on her word, essentially. Why is the hospital called Pembroke, may I ask? Have you any idea?
Pembroke Hospital. Why that name?
I'm not quite sure. I think it's meant to refer to the Earl of Pembroke.
You know,
Perhaps it's someone she used to know?
the Earl of Pembroke. Oh, that's not going to turn out to be her maker, is it? And is that why he left the island? Because she mentioned her maker had left the Isle. If he led a life in the public eye as the Earl of Pembroke, eventually he'd probably have to retire lest people become suspicious that he's, I don't know, immortal. Regardless, we're getting off the topics I want to discuss. What about this antagonism with Proen?
What is the antagonism between your Brotherhood of St. Paul Stole and the Guard of Prewen?
It is an old and sad story, Jonathan. The story of a betrayal and of a definitive schism.
Who betrayed whom, then? That's what I wonder. Did the Brotherhood betray the Guard in reality?
Who betrayed who?
I suppose each side would tell you the fault lies with the other. This I know for sure. A long time ago, members of the Brotherhood chose to hunt down vampires.
Okay. At least he's aware that each side probably accuses the other. How many of your own order are there? The guards, at least with their militia, seems rather numerous.
How many are you in the Brotherhood?
You mean today? Not many. A dozen, perhaps even less since the war. We are scholars, Jonathan. We favor quality to quantity.
I remember reading that you were both once one, the Order and the Guard, or the Brotherhood and the Guard. So the Guard must have been your military wing once upon a time, perhaps. Have you ever read or heard of a vampire made purely of blood?
Tell me, Edgar. Have you ever heard about a vampire made of blood? I mean, without any physical form, but a shape of blood.
What are you talking about? Have you seen such a phenomenon yourself?
No. I was just daydreaming. Since blood seems to be the key of our existence, I imagined what could be the ultimate state of a vampire.
I see. Well, too bad you didn't see such a creature. It could have been a fascinating subject of observation.
Dr. Swansea's fascination with vampires is concerning to me. He is obsessed.
Tell me, Edgar, have you ever heard about a vampire made of blood? I mean, without any physical form, but a shape of blood.
That was a very odd way to say goodbye. A very odd way I'm gonna go. He's just walked away. I've unnerved myself. I don't blame him for being unnerved. Now, treatments. I need treatments for fatigue. Do I have sepsis, fatigue? I've got 1 of 1. This might take a little while. Now, who needs one first? I think I should start with the medical staff. So that's going to be Dr. Aykroyd, Nurse Brannigan, then Rakesh. He's not really a doctor, and he's more just a bit of a... Well, makes the pockets of the deceased a little lighter. Then we should do Milton. And then we will do our patients, which is only Mr. Elwood, Fiddick, and Goswick. Right, Brannigan, I imagine she'll be closest. Oh, Milton, so, you know what? You're closest. We'll start with you.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Doing my best. You don't seem too well, Milton.
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm afraid I do. Like everyone in this hospital. It's a sad state of affairs when even the hospital workers are worried about disease.
Well, here, take this. It'll It'll fortify your immune system.
Our job brings us into contact with all kinds of infections, Milton. There's no shame in being ill while you're in a hospital.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. I get the feeling you don't fall sick often. Well, thanks, anyway.
I don't think I fall sick at all anymore. What do you have to trade, though? Do you have any good parts?
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
Yep. Good trigger parts. I'll take the trigger part. Right, that'll do. Thank you. Now, we're going to have to go and... Well, there's going to be a lot of running up the stairs tonight to the workbench to make more treatments. Rakesh. Can I... No, I can't open that chest. You're saying very protectively about that chest.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
I'm here to just do a general medical checkup of the staff.
Do you need medical attention? Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most healthy company.
True.
Even if the quiet can be appreciated.
Well, here. This should be a nice little pick-me-up for you.
Don't take too many risks with your health, Mr. Chidana. None of us are immune to this disease, and that is a good thing. Death and disease is a constant reminder of our mortality. But you have my thanks, Dr. Reed.
Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
You're looking a little worse for wear, if I may say so.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
I will be fine. As soon as I can get some sleep.
Well, here. While you're waiting to sleep, you take this, and overnight it'll help you make you feel better.
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick.
Exactly.
Take this, and do try to get some rest.
I'll try, Dr. Reed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Now I think about it. Oh, I'm on the run. I've got a compulsion to run. I can't stop this compulsion. Nurse, I've got a compulsion. Can I read this sign? No, I'm still compelled. No, it's okay. I read the sign, and I'm okay. There's some odd things happening at the hospital with me today. What was I? Yeah, Dr. Tippett. Can you enlighten me about Jack Gillingham?
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
No good news. Oh, wait! Are you aware that Nurse Brannigan has been accused of malpractice?
Nurse Brannigan has been recently accused of neglecting her professional duties. Tell me what you really think about it.
This kind of protest is nothing but elitist bullshit.
Ha!
I trust Nurse Brannigan with my life. She has what it takes to be a great doctor.
Do you really think she could be the next Elizabeth Blackwell?
Believe me, Dr. Reed, a time will come when skill and skill alone will determine who can be a physician and who cannot.
It better come sooner rather than later, but the issue with the malpractice accusation, it is prudent when she hasn't had the specific training to be a doctor and she's not given the authority to make the decisions she's making. It's like if anyone walked in off the street and they were just like, oh yeah, no, you need a bit of this. If you understand what I'm saying. She doesn't have the authority to make those calls. That's the issue, not her competence. I'll leave you be.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Aykroyd?
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Well, I won't take much of your time. I'm just here to do a general medical checkup of the staff.
Do you need my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous. I'm capable of dealing with this myself. I've just not taken the time to do so.
Well, I've taken the time to do so for you, and I insist that you take this medicine.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so. Consider it a gesture of solidarity between professionals.
I wish this hospital could have received as much attention from you, Dr. Reed. We do not see you in surgery very often.
I've things to get up to outside.
We'll talk later.
I don't really know what I'm supposed to say to deflect from the fact that I'm not at the hospital when it's pretty obvious to everyone that I'm not often at the hospital. And when they're working night shifts, It might explain my absence during the day that I work the night shift, but it doesn't explain my absence during the night shift when I'm supposed to be working the night shift. Mr. Ellis, was it?
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
No news, I'm afraid. Unless there is news I can give you. No. I'm just doing a general medical checkup, making sure everybody's ready and making sure you're fit and healthy for your operation.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
Really? Why has no one else asked me that since I got here? I thought I was in a hospital.
Alright, there's no need for the sass. We are very busy. Here, take this medicine. It should help make you feel well enough for this operation that's upcoming.
Unfortunately, you are not the only person who needs help.
Exactly.
And complaining about it won't do you any good.
Well, perhaps you're right, Dr. Reed. I'm sure if me missus was still alive, she wouldn't be happy with me going on like this.
No, you need to do her proud. She'll leave
Goodbye
you be.
for
Take
now,
care.
Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Right, up we go. At least I've managed to avoid the stairs as often coming in and out of here. Now, Mrs. Goswick.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
I'm here to talk about you today, actually. I'm just doing a quick checkup of you. I know you spent a lot of time in the hospital. We don't want you to have caught any infections.
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this? No, I don't feel well, actually.
Well, if you don't make it aware that you're not feeling well, our staff don't know to treat you, and I know you're here more or less as a visitor to your son. Here, you take this anyway, it'll make you feel better.
Despite what you think about this place, I can tell you with absolute certainty, taking this will help you recover.
Well, at least your reputation seems well deserved. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Maybe if I did help at the hospital, its reputation would improve.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Well, I am working at a hospital. I'm distributing medicine. Hopefully me going around the patients like this will make everybody feel a little bit more inclined towards the hospital. And finally, last but not least, I'm remembering that actually I didn't find out who was arguing around the stairs before the attack. It wasn't Harriet Jones and another Skull or Vampyr or something, was it?
The pain.
Mr. Ellis.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Elwood.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
I don't know where I've got Ellis from. It's just in my head. I'm just doing a general checkup. Are you feeling well?
Soldier, do you need assistance?
Not really. I think I caught something in this bloody hospital. I swear I'm dead, yet smiling inside, Dr. Reed.
Well, I don't have anything for that, but this should get rid of whatever you've picked up in our hospital.
As long as you remain here, I will make sure you don't have to worry about your health.
Don't think you can do much about it. Damage is done.
I'll leave you be. I hope you find some comfort at least.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Right, that is everyone that needed treating. Let us head back to the docks. We're going to evolve in a safe house over there. And then we will, as I say, try our luck getting into this sewer. Right. Let us top up on our treatment of fatigue, because I've not made a new one of those. Let's get a regeneration serum. And let us rest. It is time to undergo our next step of evolution. We have 2,000 experience to spend. I do like Blood Spear, but I think my heal is dropping off a little bit wherever it is. Autophagy. It's only level 1. It is 1,300 experience, but it does improve the healing a fair bit. We are now level 15. Is there anything else? I can't afford the next step of Blood Spear, but I do want that at some point. The ultimate I'm not going to be able to afford. That's 2,000. I can't oh, I could improve my bite by a further 100% damage. I am actually liking the bite more and more. Because I bite, I deal damage, I heal a little bit, I get blood back, and I get chance to get my stamina recovered in combat. It's fantastic. We may as well make it do more damage. There we are. And it's a 200% jump next time. It just gets better and better. Right, let's stop gushing about that. And let us rest. Now that is what we like to see. Pippa Hawkins and Newton Blight, they've become ill. They've both caught colds. Oh, come on now. Well, even if I was still over there to treat their colds, I wouldn't be evolving this quickly again anyway. Because that would only give me, well, give me very little experience. But I'm happy. I'm happy with the amount I've treated people lately. Dorothy Crane, she's doing an excellent job at keeping this district healthy, but I realise now I've still not met 2 people in her district in Whitechapel. And now, make sure we're topped up on ammo. We go find the sewer's entrance and find the man hiding in the sewer as well. After he's not looking this way, is he? Eat a couple of rats! Oh!
This is despicable.
This is breakfast, Jonathan. You're gonna have to get used to it.